Number 1. Apple decided to give us a throwback to the beloved flat-edged iPhone 5/5s design, and it looks and feels incredible. The 12 Pro is just a gram heavier than the 11 Pro, so there isn't a noticeable difference in weight. The 12 Pro uses the same stainless steel frame as the 11 Pro as well, so there's been no drop in quality with the design change. I personally never owned the iPhone 5/5s, so I've never had the true appreciation for this design that others do. But when getting the device in my hands, I can safely say I see what the hype was all about. With this design change, there's also been a slight improvement in the screen-to-body ratio. The iPhone 11 Pro featured an 82.1% screen-to-body ratio. The 12 Pro now has an 86% screen-to-body ratio, which is only about a 4% increase, something that most people aren't likely to notice without looking for it. Number 2. The display has undoubtedly been a big point of contention here for the 12 Pro, as the screen has now jumped from 5.8 inches on the 11 Pro to 6.1 inches. A lot of 9 to 5 Mac readers have expressed their disapproval of this size increase. However, I personally prefer this bump in the screen size. It gives me the perfect feel in the hand for usability and makes viewing content just a tad bit more enjoyable. Regardless of the size, though, viewing content on the 12 Pro is naturally very enjoyable. The 12 Pro has the same Super Retina XDR OLED display found on the 11 Pro, but this year, we're getting a slight bump in resolution, with the display now having a resolution of 2532 by 1170 compared to 1125 by 2436 from last year's 11 Pro. I can't say I can see a difference between the 12 Pro and the 11 Pro as far as the resolution. But as expected from a $1,000 flagship, the display is absolutely gorgeous. It gets sufficiently bright outdoors, the color reproduction is excellent, and it generally speaking has that pop that you get from OLED displays. Number 3. Coming hot off the heels of the A13 Bionic in the iPhone 11 Pro is the A14 Bionic. This processor is significant in multiple ways. The A14 is Apple's first CPU to feature a 5nm process, which essentially means the processor is going to consume less power while simultaneously offering much better performance than the A13. There are many ways in which the A14 brings improvements for all areas of the experience. The 16-core Neural Engine is going to improve deep fusion performance for photo processing. The A14 even allows for 4K HDR Dolby Vision video recording. When running benchmarks in Geekbench 5, it's clear that the A14 Bionic chip brings some significant performance gains over the A13 on paper. Everywhere from image compression to speech recognition, the A14 processor is going to be a bit faster. And while the A13 felt far from sluggish, this is an even faster platform. Gaming on the 12 Pro is notably smoother than the 11 Pro for certain titles. Number 4. If you weren't a fan of the 64GB space storage option on the iPhone 11 Pro, then you'll be happy to hear that you get 128GB to start, which is much more appropriate for a $1,000 phone in my opinion. In addition to that, Apple bumped up the RAM from 4GB in the 11 Pro to 6GB in the 12 Pro. This is going to help with multitasking and using more intensive applications. I don't feel as though the 4GB of RAM in the 11 Pro was a bottleneck by any means, but having an extra 2GB definitely gives me more confidence in the device's long-term performance capability. Number 5. With every iPhone upgrade, it's tradition to expect some upgrades in the camera department, and the 12 Pro is no different in this regard. The 12 Pro features the same triple lens camera setup as the 11 Pro. The only hardware difference is this: we're getting is an f1.6 aperture on the primary lens instead of an f1.8 lens on the 11 Pro. I took quite a few photos to determine whether the 12 Pro's camera system is noticeably better than the 11 Pro, and I'd say it can be, depending on the environment. But general image quality of the 12 Pro is not noticeably better than the 11 Pro in my testing. Dynamic range and low light seem to be the biggest advantage of the 12 Pro over the 11 Pro for photos. They've improved low light performance in the 12 Pro a ton. Brightness and noise are definitely handled much better on the 12 Pro a majority of the time, as you've now got the night mode feature for all three cameras. And in addition to that, you've now got night mode on the front-facing camera as well. This dramatically improves exposure levels for photos taken in low light and can really save some poorly lit selfies. Number 6. The iPhone 12 Pro features support for sub-6 and mmWave 5G, which are going to be the most common forms of 5G you're likely to see going forward. When in ideal conditions, the potential of 5G is quite astonishing. 5G makes your phone capable of pulling gigabit download speeds and significantly faster upload speeds. When 5G is everywhere, this will be awesome to take advantage of. But it's going to be years before we're achieving these speeds in most areas. With support for 5G in the 12 Pro, you're going to get slightly faster 4G LTE speeds. But it isn't the drastic increase in speed you're supposed to get from mmWave 5G. In the settings, there's an option to choose between 5G on and 5G auto. With 5G on enabled, the phone will essentially be utilizing the 5G radio whenever it can. 5G auto will automatically enable and disable 5G, depending on how badly it's affecting your battery life. My advice would be to leave it in 5G auto. It'll definitely improve the battery life by a bit. Number 7. I'm a big fan of the new Pacific Blue color compared to last year's Midnight Green. It's much more pronounced, and you can always tell it's a blue color no matter what angle or lighting situation you may be in. That isn't something I could say for the Midnight Green 11 Pro. And as a videographer, it's been oftentimes quite difficult trying to capture the essence of the midnight green color on camera. That isn't a problem I have with the Pacific Blue color. I think this was a great color choice from Apple to complement the sleek matte frosted glass back on the 12 Pro.